Watch it, Joe. Biden sent huge warning over first plans to scrap Donald Trump policies. Joe Biden could face dangerous consequences if he rushes to reverse Donald Trump's policies, the new U.S. president has been warned. Since being inaugurated as the 46th president of the United States last month, Mr. Biden has wasted no time in reversing some of the Trump administration policies on the environment and immigration. Now, Frank Furedi, author and emeritus professor of sociology at the University of Kent, warned Mr. Biden has not thought about consequences before undoing Mr. Trump's policies. Mr. Furedi told Express.co.uk. From a purely geopolitical point of view, I would have waited a little bit. Biden has gone in like a boy and not thought about these things. These things have consequences, and he is sending out a very clear signal. He also issued a terse warning over China. He said, I would have waited a little longer and would have sounded out to the Chinese to see what extent they are to play ball and what is their red line, and then decide what America's red line is to try and resolve all these conflicts. There is a danger. I think one area where Trump has been a little bit better than elsewhere is foreign policy. It was reasonably effective. More effective than we might have imagined. Mr. Biden has already triggered the ire of Beijing authorities with his new cabinet picks. Figures such as the Director of National Security nominee Avril Haines and Treasury Secretary nominee Janet Yellen raised eyebrows in Beijing with their vocal critics of Xi Jinping's regime in recent weeks. Tensions between the US and China reached boiling point last year after both increased their military presence in the South China Sea region. This week, China's top diplomat warned the US not to interfere in Hong Kong and Xinjiang after senior officials within the Biden administration criticized Beijing's policies in both regions. Yang Jiechi blamed Mr. Trump for the dismal state of the US-China ties and warned Mr. Biden not to meddle in Beijing's affairs. He said, the US should stop interference in the affairs of Hong Kong, Tibet and Xinjiang, which all matter to China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. His comments come after Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, described China's detainment of more than 1 million Uighurs Muslims as genocide. Jake Sullivan, U.S. National Security Advisor, said Mr. Biden was prepared to act to impose costs for what China is doing in Xinjiang, what it's doing in Hong Kong and for the bellicosity of threats that it is projecting towards Taiwan. Mr. Furedi previously warned Mr. Biden would not be man enough to stand up against China. He said, I'm not even sure Biden can man up for this particular task. China is very clear on its direction, what it wants and needs to do. The US is far less clear. There is more talk and little action.